After the disappointing reception to DC's Justice League, rumors quickly picked up that Henry Cavill wasn't interested in returning to the role of Superman. And, with Warner Bros. Pivoting DC films in a new direction, fans lost all hope for another film focusing on the DCEU's Blue Boy Scout. It's important to remember that while dedicated fans still love and support Zack Snyder's vision for DC's Justice League, the film only managed to scrape in $657 million worldwide at the box office. It was obviously much less than Warner Bros. Was hoping for, reportedly losing $60 million. Throw in a disappointing critical reception on top of that, and the studio decided to shift gears and follow unique creator-led stories instead. In 2018, just before the debut of Jason Momoa's Aquaman and Zachary Levi's Shazam, it was announced that a Supergirl film was in development with screenwriter Oren Uziel tapped to write the script. He previously wrote 22 Jump Street and The Cloverfield Paradox, before also being tapped to write the sequel to Ryan Reynolds' Detective Pikachu. Rumors swirled that a Kara Zor solo film would springboard a new actor to replace Henry Cavill's Superman. Following DC's new direction, Zachary Levi's Shazam brought a welcome dose of superheroic comedy, which also boasted a big heart. But one of the most talked about scenes in the film nearly looked very different. The scene sees Billy Batson thank his best friend Freddy by turning up to their school in his Shazam persona, proving to the other kids that Freddy really did know the hero. But Billy also brought a friend with him, Superman. Well, most of him anyway. As the hero stepped into frame, audiences only saw the hero's iconic costume, thanks to the Kryptonian's head being out of sight. Originally, this was intended to be a full cameo appearance from Henry Cavill in a brief return to the DC Extended Universe. But, according to The Hollywood Reporter, the deal fell apart thanks to scheduling conflicts with Cavill's role as Geralt of Rivia in Netflix's The Witcher series. Following the rumors that Henry Cavill was out of the role, the internet was ablaze with fans casting their ideal Superman, as well as the inevitable rumors about who Warner Bros. Were looking at to pick up the cape. One name that continuously came up was 26-year-old star David Corenswet, best known for his role in The Politician, and more recently Ryan Murphy's Hollywood. While the star definitely has a younger Superman look about him, it was never confirmed that he was in the running for the role. However, according to Variety, Creed and Black Panther star Michael B. Jordan met with Warner Bros. Last year to pitch his vision for the character. But the actor didn't commit to the role since filming wasn't due to begin for a number of years and he already had a packed schedule. It wasn't clear if he wanted to bring Earth 2's Val Zod into the mix or a new version of Kal-El, but a live-action Black Superman would be a worthy step forward for diverse heroes on DC's roster. Although none of the rumors about the Supergirl plot were confirmed, it seemed like the solo film would have seen Kara arrive on Earth in the 1970s, making it a period piece. Eagle-eyed fans back in 2013 spotted an open pod in the Kryptonian ship from Man of Steel, suggesting that Kara is already on the planet. If the film was supposed to take place before 2013's Man of Steel, it would have some big questions to answer, like why the world doesn't recognize the iconic S symbol, or why Kara didn't come to the Justice League's aid against Steppenwolf. Why didn't she try to find Clark and help him master those powers from a young age? Then, there's the villain of it all. Supposedly, Brainiac was meant to appear in the film, shifting him from a primary Superman villain to take on the Girl of Steel. Since he's not the most subtle character in comics, it would be bizarre if the entire world suddenly forgot about a city-stealing alien invading the planet. But, with our next development, it seems like Supergirl's adventures will be confined to the small screen in the Arrowverse for now. Heroic Hollywood has exclusively learned during the first quarter of 2020 that development on the Supergirl movie is not going forward for the time being, because, according to an insider with knowledge of the situation, DC has to first figure out what to do with Superman. It just doesn't make sense post-Justice League to have a standalone Supergirl movie go before Superman, which fans have been clamoring for. At press time, we don't know yet if writers have been hired to come up with a new Superman film. So, while this new information confirms that going forward Superman is a top priority for DC films, where does that leave Henry Cavill? Apparently, It seems that the studio is listening to what the fans are asking for after the Shazam cameo. And, since Henry Cavill has constantly insisted that he's still sticking around to don the cape and tights, we may see the British actor come back to the DC universe. Although it's not clear what the timeline for the movie could look like, when Michael B. Jordan met with Warner Brothers, insiders didn't think a new Superman movie would make it into theaters before 2023. And, with the huge reshuffle of movies thanks to the dreaded C word that we can't say on YouTube, that date would likely be a little further back. Fear not, fans of both The Witcher and Cavill's Superman. The star doesn't think he'd have a problem balancing both roles if he does get to make a comeback. Games Radar reported that during a roundtable interview, the star explained, "You've got to keep in mind that regardless of what movies I'll be doing over the next few years, you can fit 2 projects into 1 year. It's not clear when filming on The Witcher will resume, since it was halted thanks to the situation we're all tired of hearing about. But when it picks back up, the star will be joined by Killing Eve star Kim Bodnia and Game of Thrones alum Christopher Hivju. It'll be interesting to see how any further delays affect both Cavill's filming schedule and Warner Brothers' plans for shooting a potential Superman sequel. If the star returns to the Cape, it's already clear on what he wants to see in the sequel. During a live stream ahead of Mission Impossible Fallout, Cavill told fans he'd be interested in an adaptation of the For Tomorrow storyline. The 2005 12-issue arc from Brian Azzarello, Jim Lee, and Scott Williams sees 1 million people disappear from the planet. Superman was busy saving Green Lantern in space and doesn't know about the event until it's too late. Lois Lane is among the people who disappeared, forcing the Kryptonian to battle through his own loss while trying to unravel the mysterious disaster. The arc also has a fascinating dive into Clark's mind as he talks to a priest in a parallel story, which Henry Cavill is interested in unpacking. The star explained, "There's a lot of weight to it. I don't know if it's the exact one I'd make a movie out of, but I definitely take tones from it. You really get an insight into Superman's mind. He talks to a priest a lot, and you see him trying to save the world in literally the most magnificent of ways." The For Tomorrow story uses some deeper comic characters and organizations that might be a little unfamiliar for general audiences. But it wouldn't be surprising if Warner Brothers took the general concept and blended it with other elements, much like they've done previously with Batman v Superman and The Dark Knight Returns. With Henry Cavill previously pointing out that he'd love to face off against Brainiac in a future movie, it would be relatively easy to make the alien the real culprit of the sequel. Fans have already glimpsed the villain's potential after monstrous appearances in the Krypton TV series, Superman Red Son, and the Supergirl show. Brainiac also makes an appearance in the first 2 issues of the comic Batman: The Adventure Continues, DC's new digital-first 6-issue miniseries from Paul Dini and Alan Burnett, both producers of the original Batman, the animated series. Although fans might not get to see a big-screen version of Supergirl anytime soon, there's still the impressive television series starring Melissa Benoist to enjoy in its place. It's not just her solo adventures either, as she's constantly crossing over and saving the multiverse with the rest of the heroes in the Arrowverse. For now, it just seems like a waiting game until Henry Cavill returns to the role. The star has seemingly never given up hope about donning the costume again, telling Men's Health last year, "There's a lot I have to give for Superman yet, a lot of storytelling to do, a lot of real, true depths to the honesty of the character I want to get into. I want to reflect the comic books. That's important to me. There's a lot of justice to be done for Superman. The status is, you'll see." Fans clearly want to see more from Cavill's Kryptonian, with many calling for his return after the Twitter account for Batman v Superman wished the star a happy birthday. Whether the plans to focus on Superman imply that Warner Brothers is hoping to connect their films a little tighter or not remains to be seen. But DC's most recent solo movies have successfully delivered fresh, lighthearted adventures, which, aside from Birds of Prey, have been financial hits. Even though the Margot Robbie film didn't rake in as much profit as expected, it was still a fun movie to watch. If Henry Cavill returns with a lighter, hopeful Superman, like we briefly saw in Justice League, that could be something truly special to see. In the meantime, we'll just have to wait for Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman 1984 to bring some much-needed hope and levity to the big screen when she arrives later this year. Make sure to keep an eye on Heroic Hollywood for all the latest entertainment news. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and check out our other videos. Let us know in the comments if you want to see Henry Cavill come back for Superman, or if you'd like to see someone else become the Man of Steel. Thank you for watching this video.